first off, hold on. This hasn't happened for a while, but I gotta listen for a second. I know this is odd, but I need to freaking listen for a second. Hold on. You've seen this before, so you're familiar with this. I'm sorry if this looks weird. Oh my god. First thing that needs to happen is you need to be in a place where you need to be in a place where community is actually happening and it's not a forced thing. It's not an outside thing that's taking place, it's an internal thing that's taking place. What I'm talking about is an actual connection. What happens in a lot of situations is people try to force a connection. They try to incorporate something into a group. And I think what happens with bloodlines, what happens with nature, what happens with destiny, or fate, the well of weird further, is there are actual connections within the soul, it's beyond all of us. And you have to be in a place where those are facilitated and the channel is actually being drawn out. Does that make any sense? So we're looking at drawing out that channel. And that happens in a place of trust. Now, you and I have always had some kind of connection, but I'm going to be honest with you, I've also had doubts with you. Because I don't understand your erratic commitments with these spiritual things. And it's not to say that you haven't committed to spiritual things, but I haven't understood your experiences enough. So we're working now, we're starting over with understanding your experiences. We're building those connections. I'm confident that things will be passed down. I don't have words for this because I'm moving in a new paradigm. This is very strange to me. If you can imagine that within all things, not even within all things, but let's imagine the core of this. Let's just compartmentalize for a second. We have a group. So within this group, there's a source of life. There's a vibrancy, right? Let's just put it in the center. It's easy to look at in the different aspects of every individual here that vibrancy expresses itself in certain ways or touches things in certain ways. But it's going to flow outward. And this is where the Norse talk about Hamingja, or the blending of luck or will. Like when we hold a symbol, when we start doing things together where we drink from each other's cups, you're actually inheriting my experience and his experience, and we're intermingling with yours. And over time, as a ritual, if it's done properly, the expansion of the energy of each individual starts to touch the other individuals. And this is why it has to be something that's done very carefully. We don't do this lightly. This is why some people have been excluded recently. Because what they've done is they've, not only that, but they've done things that are contrary to the nature of it. So this is a slow step that happens over time. Now I'm going to take it a step further. You trust me as and I'm not talking about you trusting in a Christian idea of my flesh. I'm not talking about that. But you trust me in my shamanic aspect. Like when you see me engaging the supernatural, it means something to you. Okay? So the same thing I said to him. What happens is we all get dispirited. Different things are removed from ourselves through interactional things that fragment us. They pull away from our natural source. Now, in the beginning, your natural source, your ties with your family are what we're talking about. God, I don't know all the details of this, and you've expressed some of them, but I don't know all the details of this. But what's happened is you were automatically fragmented from the beginning. And it has to do with your ties of your family. Different things occurred that fragmented your understanding of wholeness. and that was their weakness, but it affected you, right? Okay. So as you're moving outward and you're trying to experience these things or expect these things from others, it's not occurring. My arms are getting numb. This is really weird.
I've actually, you know what? You've actually you've hit every bit. You've hit every bit.
But we're not done.
But what I'm saying is that it's all coming together now.
We're not done. We need to reestablish in a proper form your inheritance that your family line didn't provide. It's already in the bloodline. It's already in you. The DNA is in you. So what we're trying to do is reestablish that connection. The source isn't reliant on your influences or your family. The source is in you, but you don't know how to find it. Okay, that's your dispiritedness is very different than Graham's. Your dispiritedness is a loss of the trail. Graham's dispiritedness is something was pulled from him. That's a whole different level. Your dispiritedness is a loss of connection because you rely on that connection in the exterior realm through family and through different things. So we have to rediscover it in you. We have to pull it out of your DNA. It has to come back up the spiral ladder, Jacob's ladder. It has to come back out. Boom. Right? Okay? That's going to take time. That's a hard road to travel because it's a lonely road because you have no family to rely on in that road. They're not going to understand that walk. Okay? But it's there. It's in you. Your connectedness is in you. And that's why you yearn for it. That's the reason you yearn for it. But what you've never done is been able to bridge the gap between your yearning and discovering. You've looked for it in these different movements and in these different things. You haven't found it within yourself yet. And that's the breakdown. Okay? Your dispiritedness was that pull away, which we talked about. So we're going to, willing, if that ever happens, I hope I can help with that. I'm not making any promises. This is going to come through constant reminders and engagement and through research. It's going to come from you taking the steps to move towards that path.
The biggest piece of this right now for me, but it's just kind of overall in my mind, is realizing that I've been in a number of circumstances of my life where I've had the opportunity to participate in some